And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We have a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. Folks, however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. Alrighty, today's a big old Monday after. Oh my God, the divisional round of the playoffs, absolutely crazy. I mean, all the games were great games. Really, were all close until some key turnovers. Turnovers was really the topic to talk about from the weekend. I mean, out of the 4 games, 3 of them were really decided because of turnovers. Turnovers are crucial. They're key, and if you're throwing turnovers, if you're throwing interceptions, if you're fumbling the ball in the playoffs, you better hope your opponent is too, because if they're not, you're definitely losing the game, and we saw that all weekend long. So we're breaking down the 4 games, the 4 playoff games from the weekend. We're starting to talk basketball today, so we'll be breaking down all the NBA action from yesterday, and to kind of celebrate our first day back in the NBA cycle. MLK Day is today. There's basketball on all day today. There's a game starting at 12:10. So in honor of all that, let's do a live pick here. A live pick. We'll follow it throughout the show. It's officially tipping off at 12:10. So we'll kind of keep tabs in it, check back in during the show periodically. Probably only once. We'll probably make our pick and then just check it at the end of the show. But the 12:10 game is the Magic versus the Knicks, and it's Knicks +2. And I absolutely love the Knicks +2. I love what they're really doing over there in New York with that young crew, and who's the head coach? I'm forgetting the name. I see the face, the ex-Bulls head coach. We'll remember it later, but I like what they got going on with the Knicks, but they just played yesterday and blew out the Celtics, so I think I'm going to play the momentum in the back-to-back, and we'll take the Magic -2 here. Really similar teams here. Knicks a little bit younger. Magic, they're also young as well, but they do have some big pieces, Valanciunas, who were big in the bubble last season and kind of carried it over, where the Knicks, a lot of young role players trying to get it all together. So I do like the Knicks, but we're going to go Magic -2 here just because the Knicks played yesterday back-to-back. A lot of players don't like them, and a lot of teams don't have success in the back-to-back. So we're going to rock with Magic -2. This is our live bet. We'll follow it throughout the show and come back at you. But Magic -2, that's what we are picking. Alrighty, so with all that cleared up, let's get into our stories of the day. And the first one, Steelers quarterback Big Ben expected to return in 2021. Ooh, I don't know. I understand Big Ben probably wants to play. I mean, I would be playing as long as I could. If I could throw the ball at least 1 yard, if I was a quarterback, I would still be playing, because it doesn't last forever. And you obviously, gonna take advantage of when you can. So, yeah. In that aspect, I absolutely get Big Ben wanting to come back, but the way that he looked, I think it's for the better of the Steelers organization if they just kind of try to move on off the man. I mean, they've got the pieces, they got all the wide receivers, but this Big Ben arm is not as big and as Ben-ish as it used to be when he was younger. So it's truly unfortunate. I really think you can trace a lot of the problems that the Steelers had offensively this season back to Big Ben's arm and accuracy, lack thereof. So truly unfortunate. I think the Steelers are making a big mistake keeping Big Ben. At the end of the day, it's a business, and however or how badly it sucks, I think you got to move off of them. You're hurting your own team. You've got some good players now. Your receivers, they're good receivers, but they are a lot of drama surrounding them. Chase Claypool, beefing with the Browns on Twitter after they just got blown out. Juju Smith-Schuster having to be told not to dance in the center of a logo on the road. So Big Ben coming back, he's a good leader, but that arm, it's becoming a wet noodle, and it's unfortunate. We see it with all the greats. We're currently seeing it with Drew Brees and Tom Brady. I mean, they're barely getting over 50% completion percentage for the game, and they're not even at 200 yards. We saw it with Peyton Manning. I mean, the year before, or the year he won the Super Bowl, that arm was noodle, boy. That was the wettest noodle arm I think think I've ever seen. So, Big Ben, he's developing the noodle arm as well. Time gets everybody, folks. Father Time is undefeated. And I don't know if Big Ben coming back next year is the best decision for the Steelers organization. And then this, Chargers, come on, you didn't go with Jason Garrett as the hire for the head coach. Super unfortunate. So the Chargers went with Rams defensive coordinator Brandon Staley as their next head coach. I don't like defensive coordinators becoming head coaches, but I mean, that Rams defense was a hell of a defense, so I got to give the man a lot of credit here. Chargers, I think they probably should have went with Jason Garrett, but hey, the Chargers going in another direction. They're going to be focusing on their defense as their head coach. They've got their, offensive weapon in Justin Herbert. They feel like they're good at that point. So shore up the defense a little bit, have a defensive-minded head coach. And now the Chargers are thinking, hey, all those close losses, all those close games that we've been in, it was kind of our defense that was floundering. So they're going to try and fix that here and, with the defensive head coach hire. Interesting. I really wanted to see Jason Garrett. I'm a little disappointed that man's probably not going to get a head coaching job. I think there's only 2 more vacancies left for a head coach. It's the Eagles and who's the other one? The Eagles and the Falcons? No, the Falcons got their head coach. So it's the Eagles. There is one more, but I am definitely forgetting it right now. So 2 more head coaching vacancies available. Oh, the Texans. The Eagles and the Texans, 2 teams left. So I doubt Jason Garrett goes to the Eagles. He could go to the Eagles, but I don't even know if he's been interviewed there. I really thought the Chargers was Jason Garrett's best shot. So, but I'll take Jason Garrett still on the Giants for another season with Daniel Jones. Definitely get that. Good to go. I would love to see that. I've been loving seeing that actually. All right, here we go. Deshaun Watson, this just broke 12 minutes ago when we threw it on the show. So here it is. Deshaun Watson, I'm just going to read the tweet. Here it is. I'm hearing there is a march planned on my behalf in Houston today. Although I am humbled, I ask that whoever is organizing the march cancel for the sake of public safety. COVID is spreading at a high rate, and I don't want any fans to unnecessarily expose themselves to infection. So somebody organized a march in Houston to keep Deshaun Watson there. He's not staying, first of all, and we know he's not staying because he's coming out here telling you not to march. And do we really think he's doing this out of the sake for COVID and public health? He may be, but he knows he's not going to be in Houston anymore. He just said that he went from a 2 to a 10. 10's the max. You can't get any more whining out than 10. He said he was at a 10 over the weekend. So, Deshaun Watson telling y'all to cancel the march. Cancel the march. Don't go and expose yourself to the COVID and make yourselves, march for no reason, because he's not staying. It's basically 100% confirmed. He's on Twitter. He's not meeting with the general manager. He said he was at a 10. There's ex-Texans greats. DeAndre Hopkins, coming out on Twitter saying, hey, get out when you can. I'm glad that they traded me, honestly, because, I'm actually a lot better here in Arizona. So, Deshaun Watson, if he's saying go home, don't march, don't go home, don't march. He's not staying in Houston anymore, and he doesn't want y'all to get COVID. I mean, such a nice guy, right? He's going through this huge, transition here in the NFL, wanting to get out there, and he's still looking out for the best in the health of the community. So you got to give it up to him. Alrighty, and the last story that we're going to talk about today it has to do with yesterday's game. Cleveland Chiefs, and we all saw, if you didn't see it, I'm sure you've heard about it. If you went on any social media, as soon as the play happened, everybody was going and tweeting and typing, and everybody was saying the same thing, which really caught me by surprise. So the Browns, T. Higgins, diving across the goal line, fumbles the ball before he breaks the plane, and it fumbles out of bounds, and they lose possession, and then everybody went mad, saying that was the worst rule in football. If you fumble out of the back of the end zone, you lose possession. That's the worst rule. Everybody was saying it, folks. We got this one. Here it is. NFL Update. Good account. Follow him on Twitter. Still the worst rule in football. 10,000 likes. Nick Wright, big name on FS1. That's the worst rule in sports, and he's a Kansas City Chiefs fan, so he loved the outcome of it. But he's saying that that's the worst rule in sports. If you turn over the ball, if you fumble the ball, if you let go of the ball and it fumbles out of the end zone, that's the worst rule in sports because you lose possession. Here it is. This is a verified Twitter account. I'd never even heard of this girl. I never even heard of this girl. Touchbacks remain the dumbest rule in all of football. And then this one, Mike Greenberg. I like this man. He's on ESPN. I listened to Mike and Mike in the morning when it was on, because it's not on anymore. But when it was on, I listened to that every day. This is devastating. By the way, I hate the rule. You're fumbling the ball out of bounds or through the end zone. If you fumble it out of bounds, they just give you the ball back where you fumbled it. But we're talking about the end zone, the red zone. That's like saying if you throw a pick in the red zone, in the end zone, and they just kneel it down, that shouldn't be a touchback. We should give you the ball back. I mean, you're turning over the ball. You're fumbling it out of play of a zone where it's really not even out of bounds. It's just where the field stops. So I don't see why people have such an issue with it and saying that's a dumb rule, that it needs to be changed. Please don't change the rule. It's a good rule. It makes you kind of second guess. It makes, more... I don't want to say more pressure, but it just, if you're going to extend the ball towards the goal line and you get it knocked out of your hands, that's the risk you're paying. We're talking about points, folks. Everybody wants everything to be so easy and making the defense, job even harder than it already is to defend. So I was a little surprised that everybody was saying this is such a stupid rule and it needs to be overturned, and why does that rule exist, and they should just be getting the ball back. You fumbled. You did not regain possession. You lose the ball. So I have no problem. I think the rule is fine. I don't think it's the worst rule in football. I don't think it's a dumb rule. I don't think it needs to be changed. It's a fine rule. You're fumbling the ball. You deserve to lose the ball. I don't get it. But everybody has the same opinion, I guess, for some reason. I don't get it. But hey, we all have different. That's why it's takes by fans, plural fans. I gotta, speak for all the fans out there. Alrighty, but that's just what I had to get off my chest. I could not believe what I was seeing. It was literally, I could have liked 1,000 tweets by people saying this was the dumbest rule in all of sports. In all of sports, this is the dumbest rule. Alright. Yeah, now we can move on. Those are all the stories that we had today. All right, let's switch over to the NBA. We'll go over, and, this is what we're going to kind of do on a daily basis, talk through the games. Let's break them down, who's doing good, who's doing bad. And we will probably do a daily cash and trash list, and we'll probably do a weekly power rankings, kind of like what we did in the NFL, where every Tuesday we did, the power rankings. We'll probably do NBA power rankings on Fridays. So every week on Friday, we'll go and re-rank the teams, see who's doing good, drop some teams down. Y'all know how rankings work. Come on. So we'll probably just talk through the games, do a daily cash and trash list, weekly power rankings, and we'll probably try to do weekly things like we've been doing in the NFL during the football season. We probably can't watch a lot of film. That's something I learned about YouTube when we were doing NBA during the bubble season last season. And we were trying to watch, we watched the highlights as we talked about it, and then we talked about the stats. We're not going to be able to watch any highlights because they get copyright claimed in like the bad form of copyright claim. Like, I get copyright claim all the time on my NFL videos, but they allow the videos to still be on YouTube, where NBA, they just take it right off. They just basically delete the video. So we can't watch really NBA film. Maybe we'll try to focus one day on some good NBA film, kind of like maybe like our Wednesday film studies, just so, if worse comes to worse, it's only one episode being taken off and you can still listen on podcasting apps. So we're still figuring all that out, but hey, we'll make it work. We always do here. So alrighty, here we go. Let's go to yesterday's games, and then we'll talk about today's games and see if there's any good money makers, because there's a lot of games to be played. So, a lot of options, a lot of value to, kind of parse through. All right, so yesterday, not a full slate of games. 2 games postponed, delayed. Cavs, Wizards not being played. 76ers, Thunder not being played yesterday. And there's a game today that's not being played. Cavs, Wizards again, postponed. Unfortunate. So this COVID outbreak in the NBA does not seem to be going away, which is truly unfortunate. I don't know why they're having so much trouble. They literally could have, they had an entire season already, an entire half season during the COVID outbreak, and y'all still can't get it under control. What are we doing out here? The NFL, they didn't have that luxury of having, half a season to kind of prepare for their upcoming full season like the NBA did. And the NFL has no problem. So I don't know, or they had two problems. They had two problems through 17 weeks. The NBA, they can't make it past an entire month. I mean, teams have just played like 12 games, and they still can't get it figured out. So this is not the greatest sign, but, you know, hopefully they do get it figured out. They should have already had it figured out. I don't get it, but we digress. Alrighty, here we go. Knicks, Celtics. We'll start with this one. Kemba Walker's first game back, and it's a little disappointed. He got knocked out of the game a little late. I think in the mid-third quarter, he kind of got knocked back out. He was already on minutes restriction anyway, so he was already at 19 minutes. He was at a 20 minutes restriction. He got a little banged up on the floor, and they took him out because, you know, he was already basically at his minutes restriction. So Kemba Walker's first game back, nothing really good. The Celtics get absolutely blown out, 105-75 by the Knicks. And this is what I'm talking about. This Knicks team, they're young, but they're good, and they got some solid pieces. Mike Thibodeau, that's the Bulls head coach. So that's you know, that's what I was trying to think of at the top of the show. He's got this team playing very well. I think they're 6-8, 6-7, right around there, almost right at 500. And that's pretty good for this Knicks team that's been dysfunctional for the last 10 seasons. So let's take a look here. Julius Randle, absolutely magnificent, 20 points, 12 rebounds. He had 4 assists and 3 steals, so really doing everything. He shot 50% from the field as well. Very well done. RJ Barrett, 19 points, 11 rebounds. He only shot 45%, but still great contribution here, really from everybody. All their starters. Reggie Bullock, 11 points. As we said, Julius Randle, 20. RJ Barrett, 19. You get Mitchell Robinson, 8 points, but he had 7 rebounds. We'll take that in 4 offensive rebounds, more second chance points. So fantastic here. And then Elfrid Payton, 9 points. He only shot 33%. He definitely has to get that up a little bit. But, you know, they won the game, and everybody was doing real good. We had 2 solid bench contributors here. Emmanuel Quickly, 17 points. Very great there off the bench in 21 minutes. And then we have Obi Toppin, 12 points in 16 minutes. So very well done here by the Knicks. And let's see what happened with the Celtics. Well, as we see, no Jason Tatum. So obviously that's going to be a huge knock on the Celtics, even with Kemba Walker in the lineup. Jason Tatum's a fantastic scorer. He's been clutch all season. I think he's got like 2 buzzer beater wins already this season in like 12 short games. So yeah, without Jason Tatum, they struggled to put up more than 75 points. That's pretty much to be expected. Jaylen Brown doing Jaylen Brown things, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 45%, not terrible. Marcus Smart, only 10 points. He shot 0 of 7 from 3, not the greatest. He had a great year in the bubble, fantastic, got up to the starting lineup, really made it all work, and now he has probably an even bigger role this season, losing Gordon Hayward. That was a huge 3-point shooter, so Marcus Smart is really going to have to clean it up even more this season. In this game, we see he didn't really do it. Kemba Walker's first game back, 9 big points. Not great. 23% shooting, not great again. So he's definitely going to have to take a game or at least 2 or 3 games to really get kind of right back into game shape, game momentum, game rhythm. And he's definitely going to want Jason Tatum there as an option to get some assists off of. What did Kemba Walker have? 3 assists? 3 assists? 4 assists. So definitely with Jason Tatum, this game probably would have been a little bit more competitive. Unfortunately, he was not there in Kemba Walker's first game, and it all just did not work out. We see Daniel Tice. Ooh, Daniel Tice did not start this game. I love it. I'm not a big fan of Daniel Tice. They got Tristan Thompson in there at the center position, and he had 3 points, 6 rebounds, and shot 20%. So not the greatest. Daniel Tice would do a little bit better than that. He did do better than that. I mean, off the bench, 7 points and 7 rebounds. So Daniel Tice coming off the bench is a little bit better than him starting, but they've got to get a better starting center there. They tried Tristan Thompson, did not work his first game, but really nothing worked this game for the Celtics. That's why they only put up 75 points. So we'll try and keep an eye on this. I do not like Daniel Tice, so I do like him being on the bench, but I don't know if Tristan Thompson's the answer to replace Daniel Tice as the starting center. Alrighty, let's move on to Bulls and Mavericks, and oh my goodness, Doncic gets a triple-double, but at the end of the day, it doesn't translate to a win, so do we really care? Kind of like Russell Westbrook's triple-doubles. I mean, he gets one every game. Doesn't matter because they lose the games mostly, which is truly unfortunate. Super unfortunate, honestly. So the Bulls, another young team here, getting a nice win, 117-101 over the Mavericks. Let's see who we got here. Who's making a splash here in the Bulls? We got Lowry Markkanen. I mean, 29 points, 10 rebounds, absolutely magnificent. He shot 52%. We'll take that all day. A huge game from him. What else we got? Oh, my goodness. Their bench absolutely went fantastic. 3 players with all 14, 15, 21 points. That's great. Garrett Temple, 21 points. He shot 60% on 28 minutes off the bench. That's amazing. Thaddeus Young off the bench, 15 points on 70% shooting. Otto Porter Jr., 15 points, 9 rebounds on 70% shooting. So this Bulls bench really got it done last night. Very, very well done. That's really incredible. Truly incredible. All right, let's try to go back to their starters for a second. Zach LaVine, 10 points, 10 assists. He didn't have any rebounds, which is a little unusual for him, but he didn't shoot very well. He did not shoot well at 12.5%, 0 of 5 from 3. But the 10 points and 10 assists, I can definitely get behind that. Definitely, Zach LaVine is definitely happy that his bench went crazy. What else do we get here by the Chicago Bulls? Wendell Carter Jr., 12 points, solid contribution from him, 7 rebounds, and he had 5 steals. Holy moly. So this Bulls team, very, very well done. Starters, decent there. Bench, absolutely fantastic. And what is going on with this Dallas Mavericks team? I mean, they were fantastic in the bubble, but now this season, what's their official record? I think they only got 6 wins. They're 6-6, nothing great. Just kind of average, which is, kind of upsetting because, their squad, Kristaps Porzingis, Luka Doncic, they're not making that work. Oh, man. So as we said, Luka Doncic, he had a triple-double, 36 points, 16 rebounds, 15 assists. I mean, what more do you want? Probably a little bit better shooting percentage, 43%, but he took 30 shots, and he shot 54%, 6 of 11 from the 3 points. So he was doing it all. Kristaps Porzingis, 20 points, 8 rebounds. He shot 47%, not the worst. But at the end of the day, it doesn't get the job done. And we look at their other starters, Wes Iwundu, 9 points. He shot 57%, not terrible. And then we get Josh Green, 4 points, shooting 25%. That's not the greatest. So not bad, but they didn't have that big bench scoring like the Bulls did. Their leading bench scorer was James Johnson with only 10 points. Their second leading bench scorer was Trey Burke with 5 points. So their bench wasn't getting it done. The starters tried to get it done. Luka Doncic had a great game, but at the end of the day, you need a full team, a full roster. In this Bulls team, let's keep an eye on them, since we're starting to kind of get back into the swing of the NBA season. I mean, Garrett Temple, Thaddeus Young, Otto Porter Jr., that's a fantastic bench. Holy cow. Is that their starters? Or is that like their starting lineup, but they just kind of had to change it around a little bit for whatever reason? Because those are some starting names, honestly. So we'll keep an eye on this Bulls team, but very well done. Great contribution for, the bench and the starters. Alrighty, Jazz and the Nuggets, and this is their first meeting since their playoff matchup in the bubble coming down. I believe they matched up round 1, and it was the Nuggets. Yeah, the Nuggets ended up getting the win. That went 7 games, I think. That was just, the Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray. One player would go for 50 one game, the other player would go for 50 the next game. It was a great matchup to watch. But the Jazz get the win here, 109-105. Very, very close down the stretch. But the Jazz come out and pull it off. What do we got here in our notes? Denver, this game was really close throughout the entire game. It was close at the end of the game, too, as you can see. 56-53 going into halftime. And, so really close throughout. Let's start here with the Utah Jazz. Rudy Gobert, he's just really been doing fantastic this season. He got paid. I think he got a huge contract extension. I want to say like $200 million. Don't hold me at that number, but it was something kind of crazy like that. Rudy Gobert, 15 points, 13 assists, or 13 rebounds, 4 offensive rebounds. Very, very well done. He's great in this system. The pick and roll, him and Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell, very, very well done. And they're still having success over, crossing over from the bubble last season to this season. So very, very good sign there. What do we get from Donovan Mitchell? 18 points, 7 assists, very well done. He shot, what did he shoot? 35%? Yeah, that's not great. 0 of 7 from 3, so not bad overall in the points and the assists, but that shooting percentage definitely has to get back up. Mike Conley, 14 points. What did he shoot? 46%. That's not terrible. 28% from 3 is not that great. So he's definitely got to get it up a little bit, but, they ended up getting the win, so they did just enough here. They got great contribution from their bench. Jordan Clarkson, absolute great bench player. Possibly 6th man of the year. I think he's a candidate. 23 huge points, 3 rebounds to go with that. And he shot 69%. And that was a huge talking point in the bubble from last season. Him just coming in off the bench and providing instant offense and consistent offense when Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley weren't all out on the floor out there. Jordan Clarkson came in and stepped up, and he did it here again this game. So very, very well done. And then Georges Niang, 11 points, 66%, 2 of 3 from 3. Very well done. So some decent bench play here, some good starting numbers here as well. And it's a nice team, and they get the win over the Nuggets. So let's switch over to them now. Bol Bol, I think he got his first start a couple days ago, but now he's back to not even playing. What happened? What is going on? I don't get it. I still don't get it. I need to see more Bol Bol, more Bol Bol. I understand Jokic is absolutely fantastic, but you play him so many minutes. I mean, look at him. He played 39 minutes, basically 40, 39 minutes and 50 seconds. We can round that up to 40 straight minutes. Jamal Murray also played 42 minutes. So they're playing their starters a little bit too much. So when it comes down to the playoffs, they're going to be absolutely gassed. Why did James Harden, slack off? Not really slack off, but why did James Harden always, kind of flounder at first round of the playoffs? Because he was going, so many minutes, driving every possession throughout the regular season, and then when it came time for playoffs, he's gassed. And that's what the Nuggets are having here. So I really think you have to get some more players involved in this kind of rotation. Bol Bol, he's a great player. We've seen him make plays time and time again. He stretches the floor. He can hit threes. He's freaking 7 feet tall, folks. And so he's going to be under the basket as well, but he can also hit the three. So you really have to guard all the entire floor when he's on there. And just kind of let's go back to, this time management here. So we get Jamal Murray with 42 minutes played, Jokic with 39 minutes. The next highest minutes played was 25. So got to get more people involved here. I get your starters are good and you want to kind of focus the offense through those two pieces, Jamal Murray and Jokic, but it's not going to work in the long run, which is truly unfortunate because Jokic had a great game, 35 points, 14 rebounds, 9 assists, and he shot 61%. He's always fantastic. He's always great. But the way that they're playing him, the way that the Nuggets are playing this man, it's not gonna make it through the entire season. Then we get Jamal Murray, 42 minutes, but he had 30 points. I mean, once again, he always goes off as well. He'll drop 50. He proved it in the playoffs last season in the bubble. He will drop 50. I think he dropped 50 in that playoff series against the Jazz. What, like 2, 3, maybe even 4 times? It was kind of crazy what he was doing. So, yeah, more Bol Bol. We need to see more Bol Bol. Who else is not playing here? Anybody good? We get Bol Bol, no minutes played. Vlatko, Konkar, no minutes played. RJ Hampton, Marcus Howard, and Zeke Ninja. So keep an eye on all these players. This Nuggets team got to find more players to play. What did they play? How many players they had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Only 10 players play? How many did the Jazz have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, they had one more player play than the Jazz did. So, but but they also did not have any 40-minute players or 39-minute players. We'll have to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind of the Nuggets. They may not make it the entire season. What's their official record right now? Let's see that. Nuggets are 6-7. Jazz are 9-4. They advanced to 9-4. Alrighty. All right, and then the last game of yesterday, Pacers, Clippers, and the Pacers got absolutely blown out. Clippers, a big old scoring first quarter, big old scoring third quarter. I think they had like 35 in the first, 39 in the third quarter. So huge scoring quarters, really, elevated the play. Game wasn't really that close during the game. I think it was decently close up to halftime, and then that third quarter really blew it out of the water for the Clippers. And, another blowout here. And it really blowouts all day. What is there, one close game, two close games? Celtics was a blowout. Bulls, Mavericks was a blowout. Jazz, Nuggets was really the only close game of yesterday. So let's start here with the Pacers. What do we got? We can start with Malcolm Brogdon. That man is absolutely fantastic. Or no, Domantas Sabonis. That's who we were supposed to say. Domantas Sabonis, he's absolutely fantastic. Only 19 points this game. He had 14 rebounds and 6 assists. That's well. 50% shooting from the field. Not bad as well. All right, who else do we get here? Doug McDermott, 23 points. All right, we can get behind that, man. 5 of 7 from 3. Very well done. Justin Holiday, 15 points, 3 of 9 from the 3 as well. So who did not step up? It just looked like they really did not have any. Oh, my goodness. They had no bench play this game. Their starters, they had 15 points by Justin Holiday, 23 by Doug McDermott, 19 by Sabonis, 9 by Edin Sooner, and 16 by Malcolm Brogdon. But look at this bench, folks. 2 points by Aaron Holiday, 2 points by TJ McConnell, 5 points by Goga Bidez, 5 points by him, and then 0 points by Cassius Stanley, 0 points by Kalen Martin, and then 3 points by Brian Bowen, and 2 points by Jalen League. So not good here. Not a good scoring effort. How many players did they have play? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. See, the Nuggets need to start doing this. 12 players. Play 12 players. Play Bol more. The Nuggets, that's what we're trying to get at. All right, let's go. Let's go back to the Pacers here. So really no bench help, and Sabonis didn't go for like 30 points, which I think he's kind of been doing a lot this season. All right, so the Clippers, let's see what they got going on here. Well, immediately we see 3 bench players in 10-plus scoring, and 2 of those 3 players had 20 points. So we see a lot more better bench play here by the Clippers than the Pacers. Kawhi Leonard, 17 points, shooting 62%, fantastic, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, doing classic Kawhi things. Points is a little bit lower than what he has. Usually we want him around 22 points at least, but we can take the 17 if he's shooting decently here. Nicholas Batum, 10 points. Paul George, 20 points. He was the leading scorer of the squad, so very well done. Now, there was also, 2 other players with 20 points Paul George tied leading scorer with 3 players, but hey, we want to see Paul George doing good. That's where all the, clownery comes on this Clippers team. A lot of people like to, clown Paul George, playoff P, not always showing up. Kawhi, carrying the squad most of the time. So 20 points by Paul George, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. He shot 64%, so very, very well done, Paul George here. Regular season Paul George is pretty good. But we know in the playoffs, as we said, the playoff P meme. Already the bench. I mean, Patrick Beverley, 11 points, like he always does. Luke Kennard here, 20 points. Very well done. Marcus Morris, 20 points. Patrick Patterson, 10 points. So this bench by the Clippers is good. They got rid of Doc Rivers in the offseason, brought in a new head coach, and it seems to be working. They're still fine. What's their official record? I think they only lost 4 games, 10-4. So I think they're second in the West under the Lakers at 10-3. 10-3, is that what the Lakers are? So Clippers doing very well here. They're fine. They're going to be challenging in the West. They'll be fine. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, they'll get it figured out. They kind of trimmed some fat, getting rid of Montrezl Harrell. He really struggled in the bubble in the playoffs for the Clippers last season. We'll see how he kind of does this season with the Lakers. But yeah, the Clippers getting back on track, getting back to what they were last season before the bubble, trying to get back to that kind of number one seed and the dominant LA team, and they did pretty well here. I mean, this is a very, very solid performance by the Clippers, and this is what you want to see all game. You don't want to see, one player with like 40 points and everybody else with crumbs. You want to see everybody going off. Now, if, Paul George elevated those points from 20 to like 25 or 30 with everybody doing else great. Same thing with Kawhi Leonard, going from 17, getting, 25. He can easily do that. So, at the maximum potential, this Clippers team could be putting up, like 145 a game, honestly, because you always know Marcus Morris, Patrick Patterson, Patrick Beverly, and Reggie Jackson and Marcus Morris, they're all going to get their points off the bench. So just the starters got to get it done. They did. The bench got it done as well, and that's why they absolutely blew out the Pacers last night. Alrighty, those were all the NBA games from last night. Let's check in on our kind of live bet we're following. We took Magic -2, and it's just the end of the first quarter, and the Knicks are winning. Darn it, 19-11. Oh man, the Knicks in a back-to-back. They didn't play great. They're not playing great here in the first quarter. Only 19 points, but the Magic cannot get it going. Only 11 points in a full quarter of play. Let's see what we got going on here. James Ennis, no points. Aaron Gordon's got 4. Vucevic has 9, and that's it. They've got 2 players scoring the ball here in the first quarter, Aaron Gordon and Vucevic. Now, those are their 2 main players, so I'm glad that they got the points. But can we have other people step up? We got Joe -2. Let's step it up a little bit. Damn. All right, let's go to the Knicks now. Why are they having success for a second game in a back-to-back? RJ Barrett coming out strong with 6 points and 3 rebounds in the first quarter alone. Very well done. Who else is getting buckets here? We get Emmanuel quickly, 2 points off the bench. Alfred Payton with another 6 points to match RJ Barrett for the leading scorer. Julius Randle with 3, hitting a 3-pointer, and Reggie Bullock with 2 points. So, all right, Knicks, all right. All right, got to respect them. They're playing hard in a back-to-back, so I always respect that, truly. Alrighty, let's quickly try to do a moneymaker for today's NBA action. Let's get these lines up to the minute, up to date. Oh, and we see the second quarter is underway in the Magic. I have already scored 13-19. Very well done. They're coming back, folks. The Magic -2. It will hit. It will hit. Don't worry about it. You can get them right now at +3. I would bet that. Take the +3. Magic +3. They'll get it turned around. They had a bad first quarter. Come on. Live betting +3 for the Magic. Love it. Alrighty, let's continue on. The 240 game. I told y'all, folks, we got games all day. The 12, the 240, the 310, the 310, the 510, the 740, the other 740, the 810. The 10-10, we got games all day, folks. So let's see if we can get a nice little moneymaker here. Any great value. Alrighty, Hawks and Timberwolves. Hawks -7. I love what the Hawks have been doing, but they've kind of been fizzling out a little bit in their last 4 games. So we're going to stay away from this one with the 7. Let's kind of figure them out a little bit more here. Pistons, Heat, and the Heat are -6, and this Pistons team is absolutely not good at all. I wanted to see, 10 games under their belt, and they're still not getting really even better. Derrick Rose is having some success. I don't even think Blake Griffin's having, success, and there's really nobody else on that team, unfortunately. So, yeah, I think we got our first pick here. We're going to take the Heat -6 here. Cannot trust the Pistons. I wanted to believe them. We took them kind of early in some of our early money makers this season, taking the Pistons +10, +9, +7, and it's still not working, folks. They're still not even covering those big spreads. So can't trust the Pistons here. We'll take the Heat -6. Spurs, Blazers +2. That's pretty good. Spurs, they've been fizzling out here a little bit. They've always been competitive, but they haven't really been winning the games. Blazers +2. Not a bad play here. I think we'll take this as well. I think that's good value, but that's making me a little concerned that somebody on this Blazers team will not be playing today. I think that line +2 for the Blazers is a little crazy in my opinion. I'll quickly go through my Twitter feed to see if we're seeing anything here by the Blazers. Not really seeing anything. How long have we been live for? 40 minutes. We're already 25 minutes back in the timeline. And I'm not really seeing anything here by the Blazers. All right, so we're still going to rock with that. We're still rocking with Blazers +2. Give us those points, baby. Alrighty, Suns, Grizzlies. Suns on the road, -5.5. I do like the Suns. I'm a big fan of the Suns, but on the road, I don't really want to swallow 5.5. And we've got, 2 other good games here. So we're not going to force Suns -5.5, even though I do kind of like it. I like the Heat -6 and Blazers +2 a little bit better. Bucks, Nets. Ooh, Nets +2.5. And once again, a little bit kind of weird. James Harden and KD, I think they're good to go. Yes, no Kyrie Irving for the Nets, but I'll take James Harden and Kevin Durant. Did you see what they just did 2 days ago? I know we didn't talk about it because it was on Sunday. Or it was on Saturday, so let's go back to that. They absolutely went wild. 122-115 win over the Magic. James Harden, 32 points. What did Kevin Durant have? Let's see this. Kevin Durant, what did he do? 42 points. So, yes, they're fine. Yeah. I don't really like the Bucks. They really are relying on a lot of high-scoring games, a lot of 3 balls to fall, but when they don't fall, they kind of lose the game. So Nets +2.5. Give me the points. Once again, the Bucks, they're a good team, but they're kind of the worst of all the good teams. The Lakers, the Clippers, the Nets. I take all those over the Bucks. Yes, they have Giannis, but he's kind of a one-trick pony. Kevin Durant, James Harden, multifaceted. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, multifaceted. LeBron James, the most multifaceted you can get. So yeah, give me the Nets +2.5 here at home on MLK Day. Come on, you don't think James Harden and Kevin Durant are gonna go extra hard? They're vocal leaders on the Black Lives Matter movement. Absolutely, they're big. So yeah, the Nets +2.5. Absolutely. Alrighty, Mavericks, Raptors. Mavericks +5. Wow, this is interesting. We're going to stay away from this one because Mavericks on a back-to-back. And the Raptors really haven't been good this season, so I really don't understand why it's Mavericks +5 points here. This Raptors team is getting exposed for kind of what they are. Nick Nurse, you can only, elevate your players in back-to-back seasons so many times. Nick Nurse has already had great success for the Raptors the last 2 seasons, and now the 3rd season they're finally getting figured out that there are a bunch of role players that really were exceeding expectations by like 1,000%. So I love the Mavericks +5. There must be something weird with this line that we're not seeing, so we are going to stay away from it, especially since we've already got 3 good picks already that we're liking. But Mavs +5, that makes no sense to me. I don't get it. It's a 7:40 game, so, we have time to kind of figure out and dissect after the show of what is really going on with this line, because I don't think it should be Mavericks +5 if everybody's going, if everybody, is 100% and the starters are all good to go. I don't get that one. That would be great value. If all these starters are playing, if all the starters for the Mavericks and all the starters for the Raptors are playing, then yes, I definitely endorse the Mavericks +5, but I feel like something else is going on in this game that I am not privy to. Alrighty, then we get Rockets and Bulls. 2, struggling teams. We just saw the Bulls in a blowout win. We just talked about them, so we're going to stay away from them. A team in a back-to-back situation, not the greatest. And then the late game Warriors-Lakers, and it's Lakers -8.5. I'm going to stay away from the game since we have already got 3 good picks here that we're feeling good about. But this Warriors +8.5, I think I really like. Warriors, Steph Curry's going to play LeBron close. Now that, ever since Draymond Green's been back in the lineup, they've been fine. The Lakers really haven't been blowing out any teams. They've been winning games, which is always good, but they've been winning a little bit closer, maybe a little bit closer than they would like to have. So Warriors +8.5 is a very, very solid pick. It's a later game, so, if, this Heat game early on isn't working out, Maybe you pick the Warriors plus 8.5. That's not bad. So this is going to be our moneymaker for today. Our first official moneymaker that that we're talking about in the NBA season. I know we've done a little moneymakers here, just kind of glancing at the lines, but we're 100% into basketball right now. Our first day on it. So here it is, our moneymaker today. Heat -6. Blazers +2, Nets +2.5. It's +570, pretty good. Bet $100 on that, and you're walking away with $674. You're winning $574, folks. That's pretty darn good. So that's our moneymaker for today. I love it. All right, let's update this Magic Knicks game one more time, and then we'll head into NFL. And it's currently Knicks 28-21 over the Magic. So still Magic -2, not paying off so hot. Alrighty, here we go. Let's talk about the NFL games from the weekend because they were all pretty great games, honestly. The worst game was probably this Green Bay Packers-Rams game, so let's start here. And it was only bad because we only had really one great quarterback out there in Aaron Rodgers. Let's start here with the Rams stats. I mean, if you told me that Jared Goff had, 11 more completions from last week to this week, I'd be like, oh, they could have won the game. It probably was one possession. But then if you told me that he only threw 20 more yards in those 11 more completions, I'd be like, oh yeah, then they got blown out, and they kind of got blown out. A 14-point loss, kind of a blowout a little bit. So Jared Goff, 21 of 27 for only 174 yards. So the completion percentage was good. You had more than 9 completions like you did last week, which is always very good. But it's dink and dunk. It's only 174 yards. And when you don't have one of your 2 wide receivers, then we know that you're going to be dinking and dunking. When you're still recovering from thumb surgery, we know you're going to be dinking and dunking. When you're on the road in cold Lambeau, when it was cold out there, it was like 34 degrees. I think we saw a little bit of precipitation, a little bit of snow. When we looked on Saturday for this game, it was at 13% chance of precipitation, and I think we saw a little bit of flakes flying in there. So Jared Goff, very cold, couldn't get it done. We kind of called this game perfectly. We took it Packers -6.5, absolutely wonderful. They won by 14, so bingo bango, clean there, clean win. That's a clean, very clean, comfortable win there. Packers -6. Alrighty, the one constant of the Rams, Cam Akers, and he showed up this game, so very well done by him. 18 carries, 90 yards, and a touchdown, but, it doesn't change the outcome of the game. The Rams have a good, solid running game. They did it last week. They did it this week, but you still need a good passing game, and only throwing for 174 yards when you're not even, like if you rush for 200 yards, then, 174 passing yards is good, but, Cam Akers didn't even get to, 100. His 18 carries of 90 yards is good himself, but Jared Goff needed to elevate his play, and he didn't. Alrighty, Jared Goff, who has he been throwing to now that, he didn't have Cooper Kupp? Well, he went to Josh Reynolds 3 times for 65 yards, Robert Woods 8 times for 48 yards, and then Van Jefferson 6 times for 46 yards. So, that was good, but then look at the big drop-off. So, Josh Reynolds 65 yards, Robert Woods 48 yards, Van Jefferson 46 yards, but then the fourth leading wide receiver was Cam Akers with only 6 yards. So, it's a real big kind of gap there between third and fourth. You got to get more players involved, and the Rams just kind of ran out of options. The Rams ran out of options. Very close there. All right, let's switch over to the Packers now. Aaron Rodgers doing absolutely wonderful. 23 of 36 for 296 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, no turnovers. That's what we're talking about, a clean game of football, and the Packers did that. So very well done. And, as we're talking about these stats, can we talk about this drive summary by the Packers? First drive, field goal, 12 plays, 63 yards, 4 minutes, 46 seconds. Second drive, 14 plays, 69 yards, 8 minutes, touchdown. Third drive, 9 plays, 57 yards, 5 minutes, 46 seconds, ends in a touchdown. And then their last drive of the first half, It's 5 plays, 45 yards in 29 seconds that ends in a field goal. So they were eating up all the clock. I mean, these touchdown drives, 5 minutes, 8 minutes. I mean, that just wears down the opposing team. They're like, are we ever going to get out there? And then they're capitalizing with touchdowns. That's absolutely fantastic. And that's just something the Rams just were not able to kind of keep up pace with. They were struggling moving the ball, and, they were struggling holding on to time of possession. Alrighty, now let's see what was going on in the second half for the Packers. They come out, first drive, 6 plays, 75 yards. They only needed 3 minutes this time. They're like, yeah, we can score, we can score slowly. That's no problem. Oh, you want us to kind of up the tempo? We got you. They go up 25-10 at that point. Then they finally punt, but look at their punting drive, 6 plays, 34 yards, and eating 3 minutes off the clock. I mean, they ate up more time on the touchdown drive than the punting drive, or they ate up more time on the punt drive than the touchdown drive. Fantastic. Then they were punting again, 8 plays, 27 minutes, once again eating up 3 minutes and 24 seconds. Rams are starting to get back into the game at this point, but then the Packers come back. They score a touchdown, 5 plays, 73 yards in 3 minutes. So the second half kind of, went a little bit quickly by the Packers, forcing the punts, only eating up, 2-3 minutes, whereas in the first quarter they were eating, up all the time in the world. All right, so let's go back to these stats now. So not only did Aaron Rodgers have a fantastic passing game, they got great running back by committee here. Aaron Jones, I mean, he didn't even need the committee. He just did it himself. 14 carries, 99 yards, and a touchdown. But Jamal Williams said, hey, I can help you out a little bit. And Aaron Jones was like, yeah, I guess I can take your help a little bit. And then he went for 12 carries for 65 yards. And then A.J. Dillon said, y'all need some more help. And they said, not really. But A.J. Dillon said, well, you're getting help anyway. 6 carries for 27 yards. So running back by committee here, 3 running backs for the Packers. What do we got? Almost about 200 yards, which is absolutely where you want to be. That's fantastic. So the running game was good. Aaron Rodgers was good. Now let's see who Aaron Rodgers was going to. We get Allen Lazard as the leading receiver, 4 receptions, 96 yards, touchdown. Devontae Adams, obviously he's going to be up there in the leading receivers. 9 receptions, 66 yards, and he scored a touchdown himself. And then Robert Tonyan, 4 receptions, 60 yards. And then we get Marquez Valdes-Scantling, 4 receptions, 33 yards. So very well done to the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, he's fantastic. And now he has to go up against Tom Brady in Lambeau. I mean, woof. This is what Aaron Rodgers has been waiting for, folks. Aaron Rodgers gets like no play in who's the current. Well, he does. He does get play. I shouldn't say he gets no play, but he gets a lot less play of being called the greatest quarterback of all time than Tom Brady does. Everybody loves to call that man the GOAT. And now Tom Brady is finally in the NFC, and Aaron Rodgers is waiting and has been waiting for this moment, and he's going to take advantage. I'll tell you, I'm leaning very, very early heavy on this Packers team, really just because of the disparity in quarterback play. We're seeing great stuff by Rodgers. We're going to talk Tom Brady in a couple seconds, and his stats are not looking good. He's getting wins, which is good, but he's not looking good himself. So Packers get the win 32-18. Aaron Rodgers looking good. Run game looking good. Defense looking good. Everything looking good. Everything looking good. Alrighty, let's switch over to Bills and the Ravens. Oh, let's go back to Packers Rams real quick. This was the only game. I don't think that they turned the ball over. I don't think anybody turned the ball over in this game, which is the only game that happened. And since there was no turnover, there was no drastic kind of swing in momentum one way for the other team to take advantage of. So this is what you get, a nice kind of close competitive game. Throughout the entire fourth quarter. I mean, we're looking at, 25-18 going into the fourth quarter, 1-possession game because of no turnovers. Alrighty, since we just said that, let's go to Bills and Ravens now, and Bills get the win 17-13. Very well done. They didn't put up a lot of points, a little concerning, but they ended up getting the win, and they really held the Ravens really all game. So let's start with the Ravens here. Lamar Jackson, 14 of 24, 162 yards, no touchdowns, but the one crucial pick, and it's so crucial, and I couldn't believe it when I watched it. This was the worst thing that could have it was the worst thing that could have happened in the game. So the game was 3-3 going into halftime. Bills come out on a huge drive on the first possession in the third quarter. 11 plays, 66 yards, 5 minutes, 30 seconds, scores a touchdown, makes it 10-3. But the Ravens were thinking to themselves, hang on, anything you can do, we can do better. Y'all went on 11 plays, we're going on 15 plays. Y'all went 66 yards, well, we're going 66 yards too. You only did it in 5 minutes, 30 seconds. We're going to eat up 8 minutes, 48 seconds. But what happened? Lamar Jackson on the goal line. I think they were like on the 1 or 2 yard line. Let's see where they were. Third and goal on Buffalo's 9-yard line, so a little bit further away than I was thinking. But, right in the red zone, right inside the 10, going for the touchdown. Lamar Jackson throws it in the end zone, and it's picked off. And not only is it picked off, it goes all the way for a pick six. And that's where we get 17-13. The following drive for the Ravens, Lamar Jackson gets knocked out of the game with a concussion, and now the game is officially over. But, this was a close game, and I don't want to see anybody knocking Lamar Jackson. Everybody loves knocking Lamar Jackson. Why? Can y'all give the man a break? Go make fun of Drew Brees. He just threw 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter. Go make fun of that man if you want to make fun of any quarterback here. But Lamar Jackson, this was a close game, folks. He was going to make it 10-10. I don't want to hear that this was a blowout by the Bills and the Ravens were absolutely garbage. This was a close game really throughout the entire thing. In the first half, it was close. The Bills really couldn't move the ball. The Ravens couldn't move the ball. It's playoff level defenses stepping up, which is to be expected, honestly. But this was a huge close game. It was just one crucial mistake by Lamar Jackson, and we can't forgive it. We're not going to give the man a free pass. In the playoffs, you throw a red zone interception. We clown Mitch Trubisky all the time for red zone interceptions, but Lamar Jackson's better, so we're not going to clown him to that degree. But we are going to have to we are going to have to say something about it. And when we do our cash and trash list tomorrow, he's not going to be cash, I'll tell you that. So it's unfortunate. Truly, truly unfortunate. The one mistake really, we're looking at a 10-10 game, and I really don't know what would have happened after that. Lamar Jackson now stays healthy because they're not getting, punted deep, and the frustration. And can we talk about the center for the Ravens? Two just throwing it over Lamar Jackson's heads off the snap. Come on. What are we doing here? Alrighty, let's finish some of these stats here. We said Lamar Jackson, so then Tyler Huntley comes in. Not even RG3, not even Trace McSorley, so they have to go to 4 deep, quarterback, 4th stringer. 6 of 13, 60 yards, no touchdown, no picks. He didn't really make it competitive. He did make a couple of nice throws, but, as soon as Huntley came in, we all knew the game was going to be over, unfortunately. Alrighty, let's talk about the rushing attack by the Ravens. The Bills did pretty decent holding everybody. No big explosive runs. As we see, the Ravens only really got 3. Well, they actually did. They actually only scored 3 points this game. So we know that the Ravens didn't have any explosive runs. No 54-yard run by Lamar Jackson. No 48-yard run by J.K. Dobbins. Nothing like that. So Gus Edwards, 10 carries, 42 yards. J.K. Dobbins, 10 carries, 42 yards, exactly similar. So they were holding everybody. Lamar Jackson, 9 carries, 34 yards. So very well done to Matt Milano. He said, before the game, we even talked about the quote that, that he was feeling very confident that they were going to be able to contain Lamar Jackson, and he did just that. So very well done, backing up what you were saying, something like Juju Smith-Schuster and Chase Claypool can't do. And then Tyler Huntley, 3 carries for 32 yards. He took advantage of it too. He was looking pretty quick. Not as quick as Lamar Jackson, but pretty solid speed. And then that begs the question, what would have happened if Mark Ingram played? The Ravens did not play him. He was a healthy scratch because the Ravens did not want to get penalized in the cap hit over the salary, on a cap hit for next season. Because, if Mark Ingram played, they said he was going to get $5 million. They were going to be able to save $5 million by not playing him. So, if he would have played, would the game have probably been any different? Probably not. The Bills were really just shutting down all the rushers, and that was fantastic. Alrighty, let's see who was getting passes here. Marquise Brown. leading receiver, 4 receptions, 87 yards. Then we get J.K. Dobbins, 3 receptions, 51 yards. And then we get Mark Andrews, 4 catches, 28 yards. So, I mean, that's kind of what we can see. I mean, we know Mark Andrews is a huge part of this Ravens passing game. Huge, nice catching tight end for the Ravens. We see Marquise Brown. He's not the greatest. He doesn't have the greatest hands. He's got good speed. He's a little shorter. He's got good speed, not great hands. All right, route runner, nothing great. I mean, this is not an A1 tier 1 wide receiver we're talking about. It's barely even kind of a number 2 option. I would say it's a solid 3rd option. So the Ravens, I saw some frustration on Twitter of the Ravens saying that they need to kind of spice up and, be really balanced, run and pass. But with these receivers, you really can't do anything. Alrighty, let's go to the Bills now. Josh Allen, 23 of 37 for 206 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Once again, not turning the ball over, and that really was the determining factor in this game. One quarterback threw a pick 6, one quarterback did not. That's the game. It's a 17-3 game. That's the game, the pick 6. So very well done to Josh Allen. I mean, he didn't play very well. He played all right. He played a game manager. And that's fantastic. That's what he needed to be in this game. I mean, the running attack wasn't good. The passing game was all right, but that defense was fantastic. They held the Ravens to 3 points. They knocked out the starting quarterback. They get a pick 6. So Josh Allen's thinking to himself, I just have to not beef the game. If all I have to do is not beat the game, I'm throwing 23 completions for 200 yards. I mean, I'm dinking and dunking out here. So I give the credit to Josh Allen, knowing game awareness, knowing situational awareness, knowing what to do in game scenarios. And once, game manager is becoming an option on the table, he takes it, and I would do the same thing. So well done to Josh Allen. And now he has to go to Kansas City. So it's going to all come down to next week's AFC Championship game. We've seen him kind of win the game, being the guy, throwing the touchdowns last week, just being the game manager this week. Now what does he have to do next week against Patrick Mahomes? I don't think he can just be a game manager next week, honestly, the way that Patrick Mahomes plays. Alrighty, the Bills' running game was really non-existent all game. Devin Singletary, 7 carries for 25 yards. Not great. And then TJ Yeldon, I mean, not even running back by committee. The man only ran it twice for 4 yards. And a little bit concerning here that they really only ran the ball 9 times, 9 rushes, 37 passes by the Bills. Not the greatest. Got to get the running game evolved a little bit more. We saw what happened, to the Steelers. They never got their running game established, and, they floundered. Now, Josh Allen's bigger than Big Ben, so, you don't have to worry about that, but still. And then we see Josh Allen, 7 carries for 3 yards. I don't think any of these were designed runs, so I really didn't even see any trickery. So that's a huge note there. That one of our red flags for the Bills here going into this game was that Sean McDermott was getting a little bit too tricky, a little bit too much trickery. He really toned it down a lot in this game, and I absolutely love it. You don't need all the trickery. You don't need it. Alrighty, and then who was Josh Allen throwing to? Well, we all know. I mean, can you take a guess at who's the leading wide receiver? It's Stephon Diggs, 8 receptions, 106 yards. He had the lone touchdown. Very well done. Then we get John Brown, 8 carries, 62 yards, and that was really it. Then we get Devin Knox, 2 carries, 18 yards. Devin Singletary, 3 catches, 12 yards. Cole Beasley not catching nothing, getting no yards. Kind of crazy. Josh Allen also fumbled as well, but he didn't lose it. But this is still, he did it against the Colts. He did it against the Ravens. Our huge red flag. That's the only red flag I have on Josh Allen now. I'm not even worried about the interceptions anymore because I know they're pretty much never going to come. But these fumbles, a little iffy. Alrighty, and then before we close out talking about this game, can we bring up the fact that the Ravens, I mean, they were basically winning this game. I mean, they missed 2 field goals in the first half. This game could have been 9-6, and even with the pick 6, 9-10, a close game, 17-9, one possession game at the grand scheme of things. Could have turned out a little bit different. So everybody's clowning Lamar Jackson. I've seen it already. I've already had enough of it. I've had enough of it. The night that the Ravens lost, that's when I had enough of it. I've seen so much of it. So can we all relax on Lamar Jackson? He's fine. He's really the only great piece in the system. Lamar Jackson, the defense, John Harbaugh, that's really it. That's all they've really got. The offense besides them, well, the running game is good too. So include the running backs, but once you get that, then they've got nothing. Alrighty, so very well done to the Bills. 17-3 win over the Ravens. Alrighty, another game where a turnover was a main factor in this game, and it's Chiefs and the Browns, and the Chiefs win it 22-17. Patrick Mahomes getting knocked out, and he looked. Did you see the man get knocked around, and then he got knocked. He got hit big. He got hit big. Got a concussion, and then he was stumbling and fumbling all over trying to get up. Nothing great, nothing funny about the situation, but the phrasing was a little funny there for a second. But, yeah, we digress a little bit. All right, let's start here with the Chiefs, and then we'll talk about the Browns and their flounder. Patrick Mahomes, 21 of 30 for 255 yards and 1 touchdown when he was in the game. He got brought down third quarter. Chad Henne comes in and almost wins. Well, he does win the game for him, but almost loses the game for him as well. He throws a pick. Unfortunate, kind of classic Chad Henne. I've got some experience with Chad Henne when he was the Dolphins' backup quarterback for years because he is a career backup quarterback. And, he has a good throw, and then he throws the interception, and then you're like, yeah, this is why he does not play, and this is classic Chad Henne. So I'm glad that he wasn't elevating his play when he's not on the Dolphins anymore. I think I was cheering a little bit when I saw the pick, but yeah, Chad Henne, not the greatest career backup. Alrighty, and then the rushing attack by the Chiefs. What was going on here? Well, we got Darrell Williams, leading rusher, 13 carries for 78 yards. He got it done, but really nothing else worked. Le'Veon Bell, they only gave him 2 carries. They gave Mecole Hardman 1 carry, and then Patrick Mahomes had 3 carries for 14 yards, and he ran in for the score. Pretty good. So running back by committee, really non-existent, and 78 yards by 1 rusher. It's not terrible. Alrighty, who was Patrick Mahomes throwing to? Well, once again, go to your weapons. In the playoffs, we saw, Green Bay do it. Devontae Adams, second leading receiver. We saw, Bills do it. Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs, leading receiver. And it's the same thing here with the Chiefs. Tyreek Hill, 8 carries, 110 yards. Travis Kelce, 8 carries, 109 yards. He had a touchdown as well. So Patrick Mahomes going to his weapons. And can we talk about the game that Tyreek Hill had? Oh my goodness, him just going up and getting the balls. He's not even 6 feet, folks. He's the best receiver in the NFL. I don't care. I think I've seen enough of Devontae Adams and Stephon Diggs. Yes, they're good, but the fact that Tyreek Hill, he's not even 6 feet, and he's having this much success at the wide receiver position. He's quick, and he'll go up and get it like he's 6'5". He plays like he's 6'5", folks. It's kind of crazy to watch. So Tyreek Hill, a fantastic game by him, and, that's to be expected. Alrighty, let's go to the Browns now. Baker Mayfield, 23 of 37, 204 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, unfortunately. Baker Mayfield was playing real good this game. I loved everything about it. The 1 interception has seemed a little, careless, a little frustration, and it was truly unfortunate. But, they get bailed out because the Chiefs, they miss a field goal attempt on the Baker Mayfield interception. He throws it like real deep in his own territory. Defense holds, and they get no points out of it. So I think we can let the Baker Mayfield interception slide a little bit, because even more than that. So yes, he threw the interception, but the defense holds, and then he comes back off that interception drive with 8 plays, 77 yards in 4 minutes for the touchdown, making it 19-10. So well done to Baker Mayfield. He made some crucial throws as well. The Browns went for it on 4th down multiple times. QB sneaks, run up the middle. Baker Mayfield trusting him on 4th down, and it really worked out every single time. So very, very well done to Baker Mayfield. Everybody was clowning this man going into the game. They were 10-point underdogs. Nobody was giving them a chance. Everybody was like, if you're picking the Browns to win, you're just saying that, just to, for the upset to be right. It was really kind of ruthless on Twitter what they were saying about the Browns and Baker Mayfield. A little disrespectful. The man's played great. They've won 11 games this season. He's really cut down on the interceptions, not so much of the fumbles, but those were all situationally. So, yeah, I mean, the man deserves a lot more respect than he's getting. He's fine. Yes, he's had, a troubled past, being in the media and, his attitude. Everybody doesn't like it. But this is a fine quarterback. He can get you to a ring. I think he's got enough talent in him to get you to a ring. I think Baker Mayfield is good enough to get you to the Super Bowl. Now, is he good enough to win a ring? He would have to cut down on this interception, obviously, but yeah, I think he's got some decent talent. I'm a fan of Baker Mayfield and what Kevin Stefanski is really doing here in Cleveland. Alrighty, the running attack by the Browns, pretty decent. Probably could have been a little bit more, but it is what it is. So Nick Chubb, leading rusher for the Browns, 13 carries for 69 yards. Kareem Hunt got 6 carries for 32 yards. He scored a touchdown too. I mean, this running game was doing very good in the second half of the game. Some big explosive runs. It was like 9 yards every carry in that second half, and they were doing real good. So probably maybe stick with the run a little bit more, but circumstances, being down kind of big here. 19-3 going into halftime. You really can't run the ball too much anymore. Alrighty, now let's lastly see where Baker Mayfield is going with the ball, and then we'll kind of get into, what happened during this game. So, Rashad Higgins, don't really want to be saying his name too much since we know what he did. His mistake. So 5 receptions, 88 yards. He was the leading wide receiver. No touchdowns, an inch away from one, but we know how that ended. David Njoku, huge catches by him as well. A lot of 4th down catches, first downs, 4 catches, 59 yards. Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think he caught a 4th down pass as well. 1 catch for 23 yards. Jarvis Landry didn't get involved too much, as we see. 7 receptions, 20 yards. He did score a touchdown, but he could have definitely been used a little bit more. So not bad by Baker Mayfield, kind of spreading the ball around a little bit. But let's talk about it. So they get the fumble out of the back of the end zone, really right down to the 1 yard line. Real crazy. Is this the play right here? I don't think this is the play. Let's see if this is the play. I don't think it is. So Baker Mayfield dropped back to pass, going to Rashard Higgins, and this is the one that set it up. So that wasn't the play. So we can't watch it. Well, we can, but we're not going to look it up. But we all know. I'm sure you've seen it. Rashard Higgins gets the ball. He's one-on-one with the safety, goes to dive over the pylon to the touchdown, and it gets knocked out. He fumbles it right at the half-yard line, fumbles out of bounds, and that really changes the momentum of the game because we would have been talking about 16-10. It really would have been 16-10. Do the Chiefs still get a field goal? Probably. So now it's 19-10, but still kind of a one-possession game going into halftime. And now let's talk about this Baker Mayfield interception a little bit more. Throwing it, right on his own 25-yard line, not great on the first possession. So, I mean, you get, 19-10 coming into half. He doesn't throw this interception, most likely. This kind of seemed like frustration, feeling like he had to do a little bit too much. Third quarter, first drive, let's get a spark here. Let's get a score. So he tried to do a little bit too much. The defense holds, as we said, and he goes down and scores another touchdown. And now we could be talking about, 19-17. You know what I mean? So close game. That fumble really turned everything around. And then the other thing that really made no sense is, going for only the 1-point conversion here, Kevin Stefanski. I don't get it. Try to make it a one-possession game. This touchdown here in the third quarter with how much time left? 10 minutes left in the third quarter. I get that there's still a lot of time left, but if you can cut a lead down to 1 possession instead of 2, I take the one. I take the chance. Like, if you make the extra point, it's still 2 possessions. If you miss the extra point, it's still 2 possessions. So I didn't like the call here, especially since he has been so aggressive up to this point, going for it on multiple 4th down attempts. And now you want to clam up. Now you want to get shy on a 2-point conversion attempt. It was a little strange to me. I didn't really love the play there. So, get the 2-point conversion, make it a 1-point game, but they don't do that. So, unfortunate there. Alrighty, now that brings us to the last game of the divisional playoffs. Bucks, Saints, and, Drew Brees versus Tom Brady, the coveted matchup. But, these two quarterbacks, they are showing their age. They are showing their decline. Let's start with the quarterbacks here for both teams. Tom Brady, 18 of 33, 199 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yes, the 2 touchdowns was good. I'll give it to him. But then Drew Brees, 19 of 34, 134 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Oh, my goodness. Really only 2. The last one was kind of already game over, just trying to do something. So we'll officially count it as only 2 interceptions for the man. But, what are we doing with these completion percentages? Drew Brees is 55% completion. I think Tom Brady's like 53, 52. He may be at 54 as well. But, this is not good, folks. This is not great quarterback play. And they're dinking and dunking. 18 completions, 200 yards. Not too much of dink and dunk, but Drew Brees, heck of dink and dunk here. 9 completions for 134 yards. So, just the quarterback play, not great. Really close game throughout. And then the fourth quarter comes, and that's when the interceptions start, and that's when the game really ends. And the fumble here in the third quarter. Who fumbled here? Jared Cook. Absolutely unbelievable. Jared Cook fumbling. Drew Brees throwing multiple interceptions. Michael Thomas, no catches. Really, the Saints, they wanted to lose this game, and they did. They did lose the game because they wanted to. Too many turnovers. Oh, my goodness. Once again, turnovers creating, the winner. We saw it in the Browns Chiefs game. We saw it in the Bills Ravens game. We see it here in the Saints Bucks game. This was a close game, 2020. Call it 23-20. Really, only 2020. It was 2020 because of the fumble. 20-13 before the fumble. Fumble happens. Jared Cook fumble. Who scored it here? Leonard Fournette touchdown for the Bucks. 2020. Saints back to punting, field goal by the Bucks, make it 23-20, interception 30-20, interception, game over. So truly, truly unfortunate. And once again, another interception here by Drew Brees in the second quarter, leading to a touchdown. So really, that was the game. Short fields for the Bucks, they take advantage. The interception starting at the 3-yard line, touchdown. The first interception, the fumble, Bucks start at the Saints 40-yard line. That's a field goal. That's 10 points. That's 10 points. Do we need to go any further? The Bucks won by 10 points. We just counted the 10 points. All right, let's keep going here. The other interception, Bucks starting on the Saints 20-yard line, another touchdown, 17 points. 17 points. 17 points off all the turnovers on short field. So once again, this is why I'm leaning heavy towards the Packers and Aaron Rodgers this week. Tom Brady not throwing 50% or throwing barely 50%. 199 yards. Short fields is why they were really kind of having success here in the game. The running attack by the Bucks was pretty good, and they kept it going throughout the entire game. The running back by committee, 17 carries for Fournette for 63 yards. Ronald Jones, 13 carries for 62 yards. So 30 carries, that's fantastic. That's exactly what I want to see, a perfectly balanced run-pass game. 33 passes by Tom Brady, 30 runs by running backs. Perfect. Alrighty, let's see who Tom Brady was going to in this game. And we see leading receiver, Cameron Brate, tight end, 4 receptions, 50 yards. Second leading wide receiver, running back, Leonard Fournette, 5 receptions, 44 yards, and a touchdown. Then we start getting, wide receivers, their big weapons. Chris Godwin, 4 receptions, 34 yards. Scotty Miller, 1 reception, 29 yards. Tyler Johnson, 1 reception, 15 yards. Rob Gronkowski, 1 reception, 14 yards. Antonio Brown, 1 reception, 10 yards. Mike Evans, 1 reception, 3 yards, touchdown. Classic Tom Brady using Mike Evans on the, goal line. Classic what he does there. So some big red flags here by the Bucks. Really only 13 points of what they actually earned on offense without a turnover. That's not too impressive. Tom Brady barely had 50%. Tom Brady going to Cameron Brate, then Leonard Fournette for his top 2 wide receivers. Not getting Antonio Brown involved more. Not getting Mike Evans involved more. Now, because we're going to look at the Saints, and we're going to see who Drew Brees went to and who he didn't went to. And, this could be the deciding factor in this game. Tom Brady could be playing like Drew Brees and the Saints did this game, next week against the Packers, and it won't be pretty if that happens. So as we said, Drew Brees, 19 of 34 for 134 yards, 1 touchdown to 3 picks. We're going to talk Jameis Winston in 1 second. We'll get back to him. But let's finish off with the rushing and the passing stats for the Saints here. All right, Alvin Kamara, 18 carries for 85 yards, no touchdowns. Great game by Alvin Kamara. I mean, that's great. 18 solid carries, 85 yards, 4.7 yards a carry. I mean, that's exactly what you want him to do. But now let's see who Drew Brees was going to at his wide receiver position. We got Jaquan Smith, leading receiver for the Saints, 3 receptions, 85 yards, and 2 touchdowns. One of those passes being a 56-yard pass from Jameis Winston. So Emmanuel Sanders, second leading wide receiver. So this is good. That's what I want to see. Definitely Emmanuel Sanders up there, top 2. 6 receptions, 48 yards. Then we get Jared Cook, 5 receptions, 28 yards. Then we get Alvin Kamara, 3 receptions, 20 yards. Michael Thomas, folks, no receptions, 4 targets. Come on, Drew Brees got to be a little bit more accurate. Sean Payton's got to scheme a little bit more plays to Michael Thomas, and Drew Brees takes some chances with Mike Thomas down the field, but they don't do that, and they lose the game. They really lose the game because of it, because Drew Brees was not accurate. We've seen the noodle arm between Drew Brees and Tom Brady really declining throughout the season progresses, and Tom Brady's really getting there. Drew Brees had his bad game. When's Tom Brady going to have his? Because Aaron Rodgers is looking absolutely unstoppable now, and Tom Brady, 18 of 33, his second game in the playoffs where he's barely throwing 50%. Are we supposed to kind of keep trusting that and keep trusting that, the opposing quarterbacks are not going to be playing good? He's had Taylor Heineke, almost lost to him. He's had Drew Brees. He's lucky Drew Brees is declining very, very rapidly here, and it's his last game, and it's his last season. He's lucky because he probably would have lost. But Aaron Rodgers, he's showing no sign of decline. He's not a rookie. He's established. He's won a ring. He's got great wide receivers. He's not declining. He's playing well in the cold. He's throwing, 71% completion percentage. Tom Brady can't even dream of that right now. He's throwing, almost 50 touchdown passes. He's going to all of his weapons consistently, not taking games off the weapons. The running game is good too. So everything is pointing early for the Packers here this week, folks. Alrighty, let's close it off here by talking about Jameis Winston. He got in for 1 pass. Let's see if we can bring it up. Is this it? Also, can we talk about how unfortunate that the Saints, that trick play never came to fruition because, Taysom Hill didn't play this game, and now they're done. They get no more plays. They get no more games. So no more Taysom Hill, tight formation, single backfield to the right, going to the right, but throwing back to the left. We wanted to see that play happen. Unfortunate. All right, so Jameis Winston gets in for 1 game. This probably would have been Taysom Hill's pass as well, but he was not playing. So Jameis Winston comes in for 1 throw, a little bit of a trick play. It's wide open down the field, and he delivers an absolute beautiful ball for 56 yards. So very well done by him. Just got to shout him out a little bit. 1 pass, 1 completion, 56 yards, touchdown. Love to see it. Alrighty, let's check back in on this Magic Knicks live bet that we started at the beginning of the show. We had it at Magic -2, and they're still losing. Darn it, Magic losing 47-38. Knicks should have trusted them on the back-to-back. They're very well coached, and the young Bucks over there. Looks like the start of the third quarter. Oh my goodness, they are not putting up any points. This Magic team is struggling heavily. Gosh darn. Alrighty, so that -2 is not looking too hot for us right now. Unfortunate. But there's still a second half to go. Let's go to this box score real quick, and then we'll get out of here. Who's doing good? Well, we still got Valanciunas up at 13 points. Aaron Gordon at 9, but nobody else contributing at all. Darn. All right, what's going on with the Knicks? We got R.J. Barrett at 14 now. Emmanuel quickly at 11. Julius Randle at 8. Alfred Payton at 6, so all right, not bad there. But start of the third quarter, we're going to get out of here. We'll probably watch the rest of that game, but thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow, still breaking down basketball. We'll be doing our cash and trash list in the NFL. We'll be talking about our power rankings a little bit in the NFL as well. And yeah, we'll be back here tomorrow like always. Alrighty, we're out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. We're back tomorrow, noon Eastern, folks, like always. Alrighty, we're out.